Hey, really quick up front, I wanted you guys to know that the sound starts cutting out again, doing that weird poppy thing around minute 38. You might remember a while back there was a brownout that happened while we were recording, and that fried the microphone. It was never able to recover. Tried some different cables. It's definitely the mic. But that'll be fixed next week. Today I bought a bunch of brand new equipment, so we'll have that for next week. The sound will hopefully never do this again. Sorry about it for these last couple of weeks. Thanks for sticking with us.
Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Maps come with me. No. When do we start?
Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
Why are you reciting the lyrics?
I left my cell, my pager, my home phone at the bottom. Because we start every show with Eminem lyrics.
We don't, usually.
We did it last time, and I'm doing a new one.
So we're going to do Eminem lyrics every show for a
Not
while?
one. It doesn't really make any sense for the context, but no.
Why did you go with Stan?
It's the first one I thought of.
You could do a whole lot better, like especially you're welcoming people to the show. Like, hi, my name is what? My name is
We've done
who?
that one.
My name is Chicky Slim Shady.
My girlfriend's pregnant too. I'm about to be a father. If I have a daughter, guess what I'm a caller? I'm gonna name her Bonnie.
Is that the best you, I mean...
Yeah, you know what? I'm a rap smith. I'm a rap god. Should have done rap god.
You really should have.
Next week I'm coming in with the fast part.
Lyrics come at you supersonic.
Oh, you wait. I'm going to practice this. I'm going to rehearse.
It's like 94 words in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I'll do it.
All right.
I'll do it in 26 seconds.
Glad to know where you're spending your week. I can just see you now in the store. Someone walks in like, oh, hi, welcome to Editor's Note. How are you?
That's what I got.
You're like the Micro Machines guy.
Just so we're clear, we're not
a rap podcast.
Not usually. We're really, really comfortable rapping the lyrics of Eminem.
Or the rap.
Or the rap, yes. We could do the Ninja Turtles Christmas album. Go listen to that horror, I guess.
Or Wu-Tang Clan. We have respect for the Wu.
Look, no one could see that. They know what you did, though.
Yeah, exactly. See, the power of the Wu-Tang.
Ooh, boy, the Wu-Tang.
Damn right.
You're really hitting that tang hard.
Hey, I've met a member of the Wu-Tang Clan and spilt alcohol on him.
Yeah, we've done that story. No,
Have you?
I haven't embarrassed myself in front of Wu-Tang, no.
No, I just embarrassed myself in front of everybody. So it really doesn't make Wu-Tang that much more special.
Look, we got a lot of news this week.
Then let's dive right in.
We have a new theme for road construction, but there's no real news about it, so I'm not going to use it.
Oh, well then, you know what? No, go ahead, use it, because I've got an update that's kind of construction-y.
You haven't even heard, so I have to get my phone out.
Oh, I have to hear the road construction? Yeah, see?
Of course, you need to react.
Yeah, please.
It's no construction junction, what's your function?
Still, it would have been...
Which is what I pitched.
I think you could have done, like, Men at Work.
We can dance if we want to. Leave your friends behind.
Was that Men at Work?
Yeah.
No, that was...
That was Men at Work.
Are you sure the safety dance was Men at Work?
Thought so.
No, the safety dance was totally somebody else.
All right, construction theme.
Can you dig it?
What's the state of the construction update?
See you later, new Doug.
See, I like that. What's the state of the construction update?
I like Korg. See you later, new Doug.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks, your phone. What are you congratulating me for?
I don't know. There's something messed up with my phone recently.
To get a porn virus?
No, I don't look at that on my phone. Let's see. Safety
Weirdly
dance.
specific.
You of all people should know who sang the safety
I
dance.
thought it was Men at Work.
It's Men Without Hats.
Ah, damn it. I mixed up my men.
Sound guy? No, I was going to update people that with summertime approaching, it's time to be courteous of the construction crews and also to switch up your drink. Zach has gone from whiskey to gin in a summertime movement.
So that's it. That's your construction update.
Yeah, it was just the construction of your drink tonight is gin, tonic water, and some lemon juice.
Lime
juice, and ice.
What does that have to do with the road? Why did we have to play the theme for this? Yes, I'm not drinking whiskey. It's okay to have some variety.
Well, I feel like they've made some progress.
Hopefully.
What else? Oh, I saw somebody putting up there's been more do not enter signs. So apparently that might be a problem that people are going the wrong way.
Not that I've seen, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Maybe in the late hours of the evening, perhaps.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah, it's not a lot of fun to drive through when it's raining or wet, but the weather's been good for the construction.
Yeah, because we didn't have the spring. We went straight from winter to summer.
Which is probably, it's okay.
I didn't get as much yard work done as I would have liked.
Well,
that I needed for the spring.
I'm getting caught up on my yard work, which is nice.
I guess from that real non-update, let's go into the news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
You know, I'm gonna have me a little sip of this construction gin,
Oh, yes, there you go. It's got some floaties.
ice and lime.
Oh. Well, technically it wasn't it's real lime juice, but it came out of a bottle.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to be disappointed in you, but I understand the convenience factor you're going for.
Versus, just wasting a lime.
And like making like a little lime zest as well.
Yeah, no, I just shoot the lime juice.
Yeah, you just, kind of, there was no scientific method to it either. You just kind of pour.
I mean, I've made enough gin and tonics. I know how I like my ratios.
A lot to
Mostly gin.
Yeah, with some ice and maybe a splash of lime.
Of course, you don't want more than that. This is the 0-calorie tonic water.
But the lime has calories. And
Damn
so
the lime.
And so does the gin, I believe.
Not that many.
You're not going to damn the gin?
Birds of Prey, that movie that no one cares about, that Margot Robbie led lady, I guess, I'm mostly going to call it superheroes, morally gray character movie, might be rated R.
Ooh.
I don't care. I don't really care about ratings of movies unless it's story appropriate. Like, if you're a movie that's just going for the hard R for the sake of cursing and, doesn't matter. If this doesn't restrict them, great. Do the R. But if you're just making it an R movie to make it an R movie, I don't care.
Yeah, tell the story you want to tell. Like with Revenge of the Sith, George Lucas is like, yeah, it's PG-13 and I'm not going to fight it. I want a PG-13 Star Wars movie.
Speaking of Star Wars,
Oh,
segues.
yeah, look at that.
Solo had its premiere.
I heard it got good reviews.
It got, for the most part, pretty positive, and it was it's the greatest Star Wars, but basically everyone who was at the premiere was like, yeah, it's fun. No one's world was blown, but everyone seemed to, it was an enjoyable time.
One of the things I had read that kind of stuck out to me was that it's a good Star Wars movie because it's not like any other Star Wars movie.
And I saw an article that was like, for the first time, Star Wars is bucking tradition because they didn't include blank. I'm like, so that must be C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah.
Thanks, obvious article.
Yeah, why would they be in this?
Good redaction. I couldn't figure it out for the first time ever, they didn't include blank. I'm like, okay, so the one thing they've had every time. Great, got it.
A Skywalker.
Yeah, I guess. They also don't have one of those, probably. Unless Vader shows up. He could.
He's possible. Or mention of him, at least.
Probably not gonna, but he could be in there.
I'm just excited to go to the spice mines of Kessel.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Han Solo run drugs. That's what he is. Remember that, everyone. He's a drug runner.
Yes, smuggler is a kind term for drug runner.
100%. That's what the spice is. The spice is cocaine.
And Jabba the Hutt is a drug pusher man.
Yeah, just remember that. Everyone's favorite hero is just a drug runner.
Jabba didn't make his fortune on selling power converters at Tachi Station.
No. He could have, I guess.
Well,
apparently people are picking those up.
Luke never got there to buy it, though. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Couldn't break even that year because of Luke. Damn you, Uncle Owen.
Speaking of, I don't have a segue. Another movie thing. I tried.
I mean, that was kind of a segue.
Movies. We're talking movies. They happen in the world of pop culture. We're both fans of Predator. Not Predator 2. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it has Danny Glover in it.
And love Predators. Did you see it?
It was okay.
I love it. It's so great.
I'm a purist. I like the original Predator.
I love Predators.
If it bleeds, we can kill it, man.
No, that's a great movie, too. But I just love Predators. Predator is great because it just starts off, if you show someone that movie, no context, you don't know it's a sci-fi movie for, the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It just starts off as, mercenaries in the jungle, and then bam, there's an alien.
The original Predator?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know there's a sci-fi movie until 25 minutes in. I love the way Predator starts. It's just Adrian Brody falling out of the sky. They just hit the ground running with that movie. It's such a good movie. It didn't do well at all.
But there's so many iconic things about the first Predator movie. Jesse Ventura was gold in that movie.
Totally insane, but yes.
That's the best part about it.
No, in real life.
He was also governor of Minnesota for a time, and he was a wrestler, so...
Yeah, everyone's seen Predator. I don't think that many people have seen Predators. Go see that movie. That movie is great. But
Adrian
anyway,
Brody's nose kind of freaks me out a little bit sometimes.
Look, it's big.
It's laid over to one side. Kind of like my nose, I guess.
Because you broke it 5 times.
There was a stretch of time where it was not a good time for the nostril.
But Shane Black, writer of the first Predator, also I think briefly actor in it. I think he was one of the mercenaries. He's back directing the new The Predator, and we had our first trailer.
I liked it.
I was underwhelmed.
I liked it.
Because it didn't... The thing is I trust this director. I think
I mean, his last couple movies were The Nice Guys, which I loved. No one saw that movie, but it's amazing and everyone should see it. You didn't see it.
Nope.
Iron Man 3, like he wrote the first Predator. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He's a good director. I like his style a lot. And I trust, especially since he wrote the first Predator, I trust what he's doing, but this trailer didn't do much for me. I was like, okay, great. Predator in suburbia. We've seen that. And gosh, they're genetically engineering the Predator. We've seen that with like Jurassic Park and every other movie.
Yeah,
and also
it's-
a little bit for Predators we saw.
It's
that.
a Predator Jurassic Park mashup, kind of, but still looks like it's a good bit of fun, a good spot of fun.
Yeah, the trailer didn't do anything for me, but I do.
It brought back nostalgia.
I trust the director, so I'm not that worried about it. But the
He's dug in
trailer
deeper than
for
an
me-
Alabama tick.
Comparatively, you see the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer?
Oh my God, yes,
That
it
was
looks amazing.
That was a fantastic.
I was
Has
gonna
nothing to
ask
do
you
with
about
this
it.
show, but that looks
Of course it does.
fantastic.
See it in theaters.
Nah, there's no. I mean, there's a spectacle to it, but not blowing stuff up spectacle. So I can wait.
But you're a big Queen fan.
I do like Queen quite a bit. There's like some great songs there. I made a Queen joke last week in this show.
You did.
Mustafa, Mustafa.
Okay, we can move on from it. Wasn't really a good Queen joke.
Look, I was bringing it back.
Mustafa.
No, not Mustafa.
Oh, Mustafar.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. It looks really good, though. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, unrelated.
If I had to choose between Bohemian Rhapsody and The Predator, I would go with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Hey, you've seen the first Iron Man.
I have seen the first Iron Man.
I think that movie probably has the more...
Recently, even. I watched it the other day.
Yeah. The original Iron Man suit from that movie. I'm not even sure which one. I've seen one of them at an exhibit in New York years and years ago. But one of the Iron Man suits was stolen from a storage facility, and it's so specific that it was stolen sometime between February and April.
I'm sure they've got cameras.
What great security. They couldn't figure out that this $325,000 suit was stolen sometime between February and April.
They have top men looking into it.
Yeah, no real follow-up there. Just that was stolen, and this sounds like a terrible place to store your things.
Apparently so.
So don't do that if you're in Hollywood, I guess, or LA. I think it was in LA.
Wherever it was, please don't.
What's his fuck? John Favreau.
Yes, him.
Speaking
of Iron Man.
I got there. Remembered his name. He's been working on that live-action Star Wars series for the Disney streaming service, and it is going to be set 1 year after Return of the Jedi.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, so you might see the Battle of Jakku, which I think might have been done in one of the video games, like a Battlefront game, something like that. I don't know. I'm not up to date on video games these days.
Nor am I.
But yeah, that seems like a good place to set it, especially if all these movies are taking place in between episodes 3 and 4. Do something on that barren area. The other downside you're gonna go is like, oh, Luke Skywalker, you just missed him.
Good point.
Yeah, it's the only downside, but
yeah.
Kevin Feige himself.
Yes, the man.
Has said after the Captain Marvel movie that we're going to be getting next year? This year? Next year.
Next year. About a month before the next Avengers.
Yeah. That Miss Marvel will be in the works in the future. That's not like an official confirmation. He just said that like they're working on it. Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel used to be called Miss Marvel for years and years and years. She was only relabeled 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6. And Miss Marvel is a Palestinian Inhuman who took over the role, but it was Marvel's first Muslim superhero, so we'll be bringing her to the big screen, which will be nice. It's a very well-received character, and, not everything has to be a smart-ass white guy.
No, it does not.
I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong. I've appreciated the representation, because personally I felt underserved in the last 30 years of my life.
You smart-ass white guy.
Yeah. I'm all for it. People love that character. As soon as she came in, her whole thing is she can embiggen, which Oxford English Dictionary did add because of Miss Marvel.
Wow.
And stretch like Reed Richards, so it's a good time. She's a fun character. I like her a lot. That's all I really have to say on that. Going over to the world of comic books, we're hopping all over the place. I don't know why. I'm not doing like a concise this one. I'm just going down the list, really.
Because you're struggling with segues, so you're just...
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
A stream of conscious here.
Well, even last week I was editing the show. I'm like, this is clearly the week I stopped caring about, like, family-friendly content. There's a lot of stuff I should have cut and didn't. Like, last week was the breaking point, apparently.
We've evolved.
It's like, I don't even care anymore. Which is even sadder, because last week, this, like, 5-year-old kid comes into the store. He's like, we were just listening to you in the car. I'm like, oh, God. Sorry.
We're helping parents have that tough conversation with their child.
Rumors have been shot down of a DC Comics reboot that was swirling around the internet. It started over at Bleeding Cool. Generally a site I don't like. Unfortunately, one of them did a good thing, I guess, this week. But in general, I don't like the website. They're not fantastic at accuracy. And they're like comic book news and rumors. Heavy on the rumors. Not their tagline, but kind of what it is.
All the rumors that are fit to rumor.
Yeah. But that has been shot down by multiple heads of DC. I guess kind of, I will get a segue out of that because They
When you
did,
say multiple heads at DC, is it like Hydra? If you cut one head off, two more will replace it?
I mean, I like all the heads at DC, so I would prefer if you didn't.
I'm not into like beheading people, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's cool. That was Jim Lee who said no. And then Scott Snyder, who's a writer, one of their big guns.
Scott Snyder of 300 Scott Snyder?
No, different guy.
Okay.
You're thinking of Zack Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
But Snyder's the same.
Snyder. I was close. I was like halfway. 50%.
Another story that was reported over at Bleeding Cool, and then they were attacked, and then I was like, damn it, I hate backing Bleeding Cool because they're the worst, but, you know, if they're in the right, they're in the right.
But they're bleeding cool, dude.
We don't generally talk about this on the show, but there is a negative side to comics Twitter. And most of it spins out of this one account called Diversity in Comics, and it's this one asshole who he does a good job of insulting people and then playing the victim on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's that whole group, and everything seems to stem from him for the most point. It's this kind of like nexus point of negativity. Real jackass. Him and some other generally uncouth people are putting out a book called Jawbreakers. It's on Indiegogo, I think, and it's making a ton of cash, but it was going to be put out by this company, Antarctic Press. And then a bunch of retailers all like spoke up like, hey, we're not going to carry this book, like, even if you order it. Or people are saying, like, if you order it, you need to pay ahead of time, and then we will get it for you. And there was so much backlash, Antarctic Press came out and they're like, you know what? It's not worth it. And they did this really weird, like, middle-of-the-road statement. They were like, you know, we try to separate the artist from the, like, art. They're not the same thing, and I don't agree with that at all. If you say that you don't believe that, everyone has a threshold. There's a reason no one shows The Cosby Show anymore on TV.
Yeah.
Everyone has a threshold for the artist and the art.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of guys not a bunch, but there are certain people I don't carry in the store unless it's something you specifically order. I don't go out of my way to state it, but I don't make that separation. Maybe I just have a lower threshold than some people, but...
Probably. I mean, I was, to your point, like, I was a huge Bill Cosby fan growing up, loved his comedy. I can't stand to listen to it anymore.
Yeah.
It bums me out because I loved it.
And some people are like, you separate them, but everyone has a threshold.
There comes a point where it's just like...
Some people was serial rapist, but, you know, that's just to my
These
point
people
of the story.
did terrible things. But, I mean, then there's a difference. Like, I didn't stop eating at Subway because of the whole thing with...
I mean, that was a spokesman.
Yeah, but still, he's representing the company. The company put him out front.
A fat man got skinny from eating terrible sandwiches. Woo!
Okay, listen, they're not terrible. We were having this discussion at work the other day, actually. Have you ever been to Subway and left and not been like... Have you ever left disappointed?
Many times.
But okay, let me rephrase it. Have you ever left and said, like, that was terrible or that did the job?
It did the job of
exactly.
killing me there.
It does the job. And if Subway, by and large, one to the next is exactly the same. You know what you're getting at Subway. Is it your number one choice always? No. But if it's an option, sometimes better than the unknown.
So I guess my point of this whole story is anything that Richard Meyer puts out, I'm not going to carry. He's an asshole. F him.
Well, there it is.
It became kind of a moot point when you can only get it through Indiegogo now, but just in general, I'm not going to carry anything of his. And there are other people that I won't either. He's a real, like I said, he's just the guy. He plays the victim while grossly insulting people.
That's a jerk.
Yeah, that's the kind of stupid you can't argue with.
No. Speaking of stupid arguments today, I had a couple of people try and argue with me that water isn't wet.
I hate them. I don't know them, but I hate them.
Okay, because this was their logic behind it. Follow me here, because I was like...
I won't.
Just listen. Hear their side of the argument and why they're wrong, first of all.
Water is the definition of wet.
Yeah, inherently it is wet. But then they said, well, no, because if you have... Water is just water. You put paper in water, the paper becomes wet. But it's like it becomes wet because of the water. Water is wet. Water also makes things wet because it is wet. Paint is made of paint. Paint is wet.
Really brought the level of the show. I was just talking about someone terrible, and you somehow made the show worse.
I was trying to get back away from stuff and more innocent banter.
Well, then let's talk about television shows canceled and television shows renewed.
Ooh, let me guess. They have renewed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I put that on Twitter. That's how you knew that.
I did know that. And they have canceled Iron Fist.
No, Iron Fist has a second season somehow.
No!
But the one thing worse than Iron Fist has been officially canceled. Inhumans is dead. It's dead and it's gone. And you never have to worry about the Inhumans again.
I wish people could see the joy on your face.
It was the worst. I suffered through 8 episodes of that, and I hated every second of it.
Did you drink heavily while watching those episodes?
I don't know if I did or not. I don't remember anything about them, and I don't think that was alcohol related. It was just that forgettable.
I'm going to go ahead and say it was like 50-50.
Oh my god, Inhumans is dead. Praise be. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was renewed, and I have gone through the full gamut here. Because at first I was like, oh man, the show's been good, but it's been so terrible before. I'm like, go out on a high note, don't bring it back. So it got renewed. And then I had a second thought. I was like, oh, but if it comes back, this could be amazing because this show is happening at the same time as all of the Marvel movies. So we could have an entire season of television that is all about the year in between Infinity War movies, and we get to see what the world is like when half the world is dead. We get to see all that aftermath. By the way, spoilers, I don't care at this point.
Because there's like probably 10 people on the planet who have not seen the movie
Yeah,
yet.
but that would be amazing. Like, that could be an incredible season of television. And then they announced that the next season isn't going to happen until after the next Avengers movie. I'm like, of course. So you had a good opportunity and squandered it. That's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just, it's written all over it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I liked your tweet though. It said either do that or everything that happens over the course of a long weekend. Like
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, basically. I guess it's neither one of those before I read the updated news that it's not going to happen until next summer. So they're taking the year off because I'm imagining the next Infinity War will just pick up 5 minutes later.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't know. I thought that was a cool opportunity that's not happening. So I really ran the gamut on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. renewal news. I was like, ooh. Yep. And that was my 10 minutes on thinking about S.H.I.E.L.D. today.
Glad you spent some
Also,
productive time on that.
Show that we don't talk about, and I don't think show that you've seen, Rick and Morty has been officially renewed for 70 more episodes. That will bring it to 100. So it could be in syndication numbers.
Ah.
I'm happy about this news. That being said, Rick and Morty has one of the worst fan bases. I like the show a lot. It's very, very good. I would never engage in someone in a Rick and Morty conversation because they have the most annoying fans.
Expound upon that, please.
Okay, let's go with the example. There was a joke in season 3, the premiere of season 3. Like, we learn Rick's whole which is just, for those who don't know, it's a Back to the Future parody, essentially, except that Doc Brown is an alcoholic. And
I want to watch this show now.
Morty is Marty. It's the whole thing.
Oh, really?
It's his grandfather, yeah. But they do this whole episode that's all about, like, Rick's origin, which is all, like, inside of his mind that an alien's reading. And then it all is revealed at the end that everything that happened to that episode, all of his memories, like, you're never going to find out his origin. It was entirely fictitious, and the only thing he cares about is getting a the Disney movie Mulan. There's a promotional Szechuan sauce that came out, and his entire purpose in life is just getting that Szechuan sauce.
We all have things that we aspire to, Zach. So do not judge his need to find the Szechuan sauce.
But then the problem was McDonald's took advantage of this, and they released the Szechuan sauce back in for like a day. And people went to McDonald's in droves. There are videos of people jumping on. They only gave there was a handful of McDonald's that had them, and they only got like 30 packets a piece. And people were selling them on the internet for like $100 a pop. And there's video of like people jumping on the counter, screaming Rick and Morty lines, demanding their Szechuan sauce. They're the worst fans.
Do you know what else? People were probably buying those for $100 a piece. There were people out there buying it, I bet.
Oh no, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they all sold. Like, people made some serious bank from getting Szechuan sauce because of a joke on Rick and Morty. They're the worst fans. They are terrible people.
Or is that really good marketing on the part of the McDonald's people?
No, it was a disaster.
A lot of people came into the McDonald's.
And made a scene.
But a lot of people came into the McDonald's.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of a scene at a McDonald's, did you see the picture of the car parked on the other car at the Gardner McDonald's?
No. So yeah, Rick and Morty's back. I like the show. Please never talk to me about it because I don't want to.
So if I start watching Rick and Morty...
It's great. Enjoy it.
You won't talk to me about it?
I will if you just do it casually. Just enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, get it. You have YouTube TV. Get it on YouTube TV.
So if I come in next week with a Rick and Morty tattoo and start screaming things,
I've seen that online. I've seen people who got like the Pickle Rick tattoo who have already gotten it removed. Like, they are dumb, terrible fans.
There are also probably a lot of young, influential fans.
It's a great show, but just easy does it. Sad news. It's still unknown at this point what the cause of death was, but Superman actor Margot Kidder has died at the age of 69. How did that happen? Sorry, I'm not talking about the death. Also, how did that happen? But there's a picture of a car on top of a car.
Yeah, at the Gardner McDonald's.
Cool.
There you go.
I guess they were after that Szechuan sauce.
They were.
But yeah, Margot Kidder has died at age 69. Cause of death is unknown at this point. She died in her home on Sunday. She has very publicly dealt with bipolar disorder in the past to the point where she was homeless at a point, but then she kind of got back on her feet and has become an advocate, or became an advocate, I guess. It was very outspoken and really did a lot with her life. And I didn't really like a lot of the internet's reaction to her this week, to be honest. Like, a lot of people, like, it's fine if you were speaking out, like, oh, I loved her as Lois. That's fine. That's her most prominent role. That's what she's going to be most remembered for. I didn't have an issue with that, but there were so many people who were like, oh, Lois and Clark are reunited in heaven. Like, Christopher Reeves had a wife. She was married 3 times and chose not to remarry. That's a fictitious relationship. Don't do that.
Is it really fictitious in some people's minds, though? I mean,
it's a movie from 1978.
Superman and Lois Lane.
Yeah, but he had a wife that stuck by him for years and years and years. Like, don't disrespect that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be the worst. If you want to appreciate her for the role, that's fine, but don't be like, Lois and Clark are together again. Thank God. Like, now. You're taking the wrong thing away from someone's death, if that's your take on it. I'm just yelling at people now.
You are.
Like Rick and Morty fans now have yelled at people dealing with Margot Kidder's death. Yeah, 69, though, that's young. That has to be something, so it's not great. I love her in that movie. That's a great performance. It's a great role. She got stuck with Superman 3 and 4. That's not her fault.
No, it's not. But she also kind of like technically got mind raped by, you know, if you're gonna go back,
let's not deal with that.
Can we talk about, okay, if you're gonna be like, oh, she's back with Clark now and they're reunited in heaven, Superman mind rapes Lois Lane.
It's even weirder if you go with like the Superman Returns one where she has a kid and has no memory of them having sex.
Yeah, or who the father is.
Oh, she knows who the father is. It's just like, when?
Yes. So yeah, Superman mind raped Lois Lane.
Yeah, Superman's had a lot of weird powers in the comics. He never had a kiss erasing power. But what I love about those movies is those are the gold. He kind of could though, because those movies are all the golden age Superman. Mm-hmm. Like when he had like ridiculous powers, he could kind of have like his powers were whatever before they kind of toned him back in '86 and Infinite Crisis. But yeah, so all those movies are the golden age Superman where all of his powers are whatever.
He's Superman. Do what he wants.
I really like that first one a lot.
Can we also talk about like Clark had it made? He figured out how to like convince Lois that he wasn't really Superman at Niagara Falls. Pulls her out of the Niagara River without the use of his, well, I mean, he did cut down the tree branch with his laser eyes, but still. And then, like a total schmuck falls in a fire in that really pimpin' hotel room in Niagara Falls, FYI.
There are two cuts of that movie. One came out, I think, 2007, 2008. It was the Richard Donner cut, because we talked about it on the show. Like, if you get credit as a director, you need to shoot a certain percentage of a movie. I think it's 55%, because in any movie, like, you're not shooting everything, because you always have, like, second unit and whatnot. Yeah. So they had to reshoot a ton of stuff, like scenes that had already been shot. So there's this whole other version of the movie that's out there that's really good. And it has possibly my favorite acting moment of all time. When you see Clark deciding that he's going to tell Lois that he's Superman, and it's just this one shot on Christopher Reeve, and you see him take off the glasses, and you just see him like rise up, and it's totally without words. This just perfect moment of acting where you see like, oh, this is how he tricks people into thinking that Clark Kent is a different guy. Because even when you're watching the movie, you don't, or at least I don't really see it a ton. You know that he's doing it like acting different, but then you see this moment in that Richard Donner cut of the movie, was fantastic, of the transformation between the two. You're like, oh, I get it. Sorry, Margot Kidder's dead. Digression. Really, about Christopher Reeve.
And then the lesson becomes posture makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. Boy, that's a great movie. I like Superman and Superman 2. Both good movies.
Na, 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 na. Na, na, na.
And yeah, one of the best themes of all time, John Williams, baby. Best there ever was. Why not? Let's break this up a little bit. BMB News. Brian Michael Bendis, what's he up to this week?
What is Bendis up to now?
We're gabbing about Bendis. It's this week's news about Brian Michael Bendis.
Bendis.
Well, on Brian's schedule this week, he's doing stuff and things.
He was doing stuff and things. I recommend going to his Insta.
Ooh.
Because what he did this week is he went down to the DC archives and he said, show me your rarest stuff. And he put a lot of it up on Instagram, and it's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't really do much else this week. There's not a bunch of Bendis news, but seeing those photos and seeing like these DC archives, it just blows your mind. Like it makes you just yearn to do that. Like that looks amazing. You could spend forever in there just looking at stuff.
Do you think you would get glassy-eyed if you ever went in there and were able to, if they gave you full access for an hour, what would you go find?
I'd do what he did. I'd say, show me your rarest stuff.
There's nothing in particular you'd want to see though?
If they have art, I think I'd be more interested in art down there, because I've seen a lot of what I was just mentioning earlier in the show when I saw that Iron Man suit, this exhibit in New York. I also saw Christopher Reeve's Superman suit and also one of the suits that Christopher Reeve wore. But one of the other parts of that exhibit is they had like Action Comics #1, Detective Comics 27, Captain America #1. They had one other like insane key book that I can't remember off the top of my head. So I've seen like the biggest books of all time in person. I've seen that stuff. I think the art would interest me more.
Fair.
Because you can see, looking at a comic is looking at a comic, but when you see art in its unpublished form, you get to see changes that were made in inking. You see errors that were made where they whited out, stuff like that. I'd be more interested in seeing like crazy old art.
The decisions that were made, the changes. Yeah, okay. I buy it.
Because I've seen what comics look like, and I've seen those ones in person, which was really cool. They were like behind bulletproof glass, and it was like no photography kind of deal. Like, it was also like behind bulletproof glass and also stand 5 feet back. Like, you couldn't get up close to those books when I saw that exhibit.
Like, you can get closer to the Declaration of Independence than you
can. to getting to an Action Comics #1, stand back.
Yeah.
They just had, I wish I could remember what that 4th book was, but they just had them all out in one, that was just like one display was those 4 books, and it was just like, no photography, stand back, here they are, in like the best condition you could imagine, which was really cool. But if I was going to go down to DC Archives and be like, show me your old art. That's just me, though. But that's what Bendis was doing this week. Also, DC's not inviting me to do anything.
Well, that's sad.
Stan Lee's in the news.
He's on the Twitter.
Yeah. The saga of the weirdness that is Stan Lee continues.
He somehow has more Twitter followers than I do, but tweets less than I do. Actually starting to tweet more than I do.
Yeah, he's just started up because Stan Lee has gained control of his Twitter account for the first time. And most, like a lot of famous people have social media managers, and a lot of it isn't them. And Stan Lee, if you've seen his stuff, it clearly wasn't Stan. Most of it's promotional stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to call it clickbait.
That's fine. I mean, there was never, I didn't have an illusion of like, this is Stan promoting this thing. Like, Stan's 95, he doesn't care. But he put out a tweet in the last week that said, "Today was the first day I ever did a tweet by myself. Congratulations. Before today, my account was done by others. I still do not have control of my Facebook. Someone else is doing it, not me." Not in capital letters. He's been tweeting a couple things. He's like, how do I do a video on here? And he's been posting some photos, like, of the guy who seemingly is kind of controlling everything right now. Like, he put it was like, here's me and my buddy. I still don't know what to make of this whole situation. We've seen so many different reports and so much different information. I have no idea what's going on with Stan Lee. I don't think anyone does.
No.
I think
probably least of all Stan.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. It also doesn't feel like these are really Stan's tweets still.
I feel like Stan is... Because the thing is, Stan is nearly blind at this point. Like, so I don't know if he's dictating the tweets for someone to send, but then he did another one that made it seem like he was actually the one typing them. He's like, how do I do a video on this thing? You know, being one of those people who treats Twitter like it's Google. I hate when people do that.
Twitter's not Google.
No.
Google's not Twitter.
So I was like, is he actually typing these? I don't even know. I have no idea.
Wouldn't you like to go back in time and buy stock in Twitter before it, like, at its IPO?
It'd be nice, yeah, to get into that trial. Yeah.
Yeah.
The beta. Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah, so I have no idea what's happening with Stan Lee. Apparently, he is doing his own tweets now. I don't follow his Facebook, just because I don't follow a lot on Facebook. I follow his Instagram, which is clearly all promotional. Like, there's no secrets there. But yeah, his Twitter is apparently all Stan now.
All Stan all the time.
He is tweeting a bunch.
280 characters, give or take. I don't know. The whole thing just seems kind of like out of the blue. Almost like, well, I hope it is Stan, but if it's not Stan, it's kind of a good cover to be like,
I imagine
let's tweet pretending we're Stan.
Because we've heard that stuff of like he didn't have access to his phone and all of his numbers were changed and all that weirdness. And I will definitely confirm that. Like, there were enough people who said they tried to contact Stan by numbers they knew and couldn't get him anymore. So we know that some personal stuff in Stan Lee's life has been hijacked from him. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's all weird, and I bet we're never gonna know. Not really.
No, I agree.
That's all the news that's fit to print on this piece of paper where I wrote things down by hand. So from there, it's time for Jared's Sports Reports.
He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. Bare-chested. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
It's time for another Jared Sports Report.
Lots happening in the world of sports ball.
Is there?
Well, it's mostly just NBA playoffs are in full swing. The Bruins are not playing. And the Celtics won Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Comfortably won.
Very comfortably. And, well, who knows what the outcome is of tonight's game? We'll know. I mean, when you listen to this podcast, you'll know. But we don't know because it's in the future, and that's your past.
In about 10 minutes.
Yes.
So let's wrap this episode up.
I feel like this is going to be a very quick Jared's Reading Corner tonight. Let's see what else is exciting. That's really the big thing. Rookie mini camps have started for the New England Patriots and some of their OTA stuff. Tom Brady was on the Twittergram saying that he was jokingly saying he wanted to play past 40 because he's only 80 some odd yards away from 1,000 career rushing yards after being in the league for 18 years. So
isn't the Celtics draft tonight or the NBA draft tonight?
The draft lottery where they select the lottery balls, I believe is this week. It's this week, I think. I don't think it's tonight.
I think it happened an hour ago. I thought it was 7:30 tonight.
Oh, that's easy enough to find out.
I guess. Edit point. Boom.
Oh yeah, it would be tonight. the NBA draft lottery. Let's see.
Currently happening.
Yes. But anyway, the draft lottery. Results of the draft lottery. They have not gotten to the number 1 pick yet.
Well, we'll report on that next week.
Yes. The Celtics should be getting a compensation pick in here, I believe. But they're up to number 4, so the Celtics still have a chance, I think. Possibly. Anyway.
You'll know by the time this comes out.
Yes.
And then we'll talk about it next week.
On Jared's Sports Reports.
Good for you. All right, what else is happening in the world of sports?
Let's see.
You're real Boston heavy. Try and expand your horizons.
Oh, well, it's NASCAR has the Monster Energy Cup All-Star race this coming weekend for $1 million, and they're testing out restrictor plates at Charlotte Motor Speedway in that race. So that'll be interesting.
You just said a bunch of words, and I'm going to just nod and acknowledge them.
Expand your horizons, Zach.
Don't really care about NASCAR.
Well, there might be people on the podcast who do care about
Probably
NASCAR.
do.
Just like there are people that care about the royal wedding, and I don't really care.
Me too.
Do you don't care about the royal wedding, or
I do not care.
Oh,
at
okay.
all.
You're not one of the.
Little.
How about Emily? Do you care about the royal wedding? Okay,
it.
so there's like one of the 3 of us in this house cares about the royal
you
wedding.
You don't live here. Don't claim this as your house.
I spend a lot of time here. I spend like of everyone that spends time here, I'm number 3 on the list. When you really think about it.
Yeah, probably.
So I kind of like have squatters' rights.
You can have the futon. I don't like the futon.
That's fine. I'm not sitting on the futon.
You're not on the futon.
No,
it's in another room that I don't go in.
Oh, is that in like the office room?
No, the sewing area.
Oh, well, that's fine. Other sports. I'm trying to think of other sports things off the top of my head. Oh, in the Western Conference, Golden State won Game 1 against Houston. So there's that.
I was predicting that Houston's going to go to the finals.
Oh, Steph Curry's waking up.
Because, I said it last week, but my prediction was Boston will beat the Cavs and then go against Houston and lose terribly.
I don't think
not a sweep, but they'll lose in 5.
Nobody can sleep on the Celtics team anymore. They're looking good. They're hitting on all cylinders.
Have you seen me bet against the Celtics so far?
Yeah, I came over one night and 2 minutes into the game. Oh, they're going to lose tonight. They're playing terrible.
I think most basketball games you can call pretty early.
They got down 20 and they came back to win that game.
Yeah, that's it. One example.
They led the league and it happened more than half a dozen times this year. Okay, it's not an example.
I'm saying it's in general. No, it's not a rule.
Well, it was a trend this year for the Celtics, so there.
I want them to win. It's been a while.
2008.
Shaq couldn't even get them there. Shaq himself.
Shaq was a shadow of a man by the time he was playing for the Celtics.
No,
Shaq was, at that point, he's what they call a ticket seller.
No one remembers Shaq's time on the Celtics.
Nope.
Shaq doesn't remember Shaq's time on the Celtics.
Neither do the Celtics, for that matter. I don't think it's really ever... I bet if you go on his Wikipedia page, it's not even listed as a team he played for.
Like the Magic, Lakers, the Heat, and then he was done.
Yeah, because he really didn't do much with the Celtics.
No.
I'm trying to think of anything.
Do you remember 93? Young Shaquille O'Neal, Orlando Magics?
Yes, with Penny Hardaway as the point guard.
Oh my God! Yes, good pull, man.
Thank you, sir.
I couldn't have done that, but yeah, you brought me back. You brought me back to 93.
When you were what?
5.
Yeah, exactly. That's really it for Jared's sports reports. We're kind of in the Boston Red Sox are kind of in a little bit of a struggle slump.
They won on Sunday.
Yeah, but they're kind of they've come back to earth. The Yankees now lead the division.
I gotta tell you, they were playing at the same time as the Celtics. I was watching the Celtics on a tiny iPad because the TV was reserved for the Red Sox. I'm like, don't care, Celtics.
And that's Jared's sports reports.
Okay, great. Remember 93?
And now we're on.
What else was happening in the world of NBA in 1993? Because I don't remember.
Well, let's see.
Don't care.
I believe it was the beginning of the Bulls dynasty.
Yeah, it would have been because be right about that time.
And I also
are you really looking up what was happening in the NBA in 93?
I want to see the Dream Team was 93, 94.
I thought it was 95.
Oh, the Finals MVP was Michael Jordan beating the Phoenix Suns 4-2. That was Shaq's first year. He was the top draft pick.
No, 93. Yeah, but
the season MVP was Charles Barkley. The top scorer was Michael Jordan.
I love Charles Barkley.
The Seattle Supersonics were in the Western Conference Finals. Let's see. Notable occurrences.
It was a couple weeks ago. I was watching Inside the NBA, and I forget who said it. They're like, "Oh, my kids need to go to bed." And I just hear Barkley from the side. He's like, "No one gives a damn about your kids." Thanks, Charles.
The Boston Celtics were. Yeah, the Boston Celtics lost in 4 games in the playoffs to the Charlotte Hornets and Alonzo Mourning.
Oh boy, the Hornets! Yeah, that's a big 90s
Michael Jordan scored his 20,000th career point. That the 93 season was the end of the first three-peat.
I guess from there we're moving on to a very special Jared's Reading Corner because I haven't given you the context in which I want you to talk yet.
It's Jared's Reading Corner.
Does this have to do with the fact that this is going to be a Netflix TV series?
100%. Did you do some research?
I did do some research.
Today, we are talking Umbrella Academy, the first of 2 arcs that exist in this whole world. The reason we're talking about it at kind of a vague time is because Netflix just seems to announce things that they happen, like maybe in the case of the Super Bowl, like the next day when they had that Cloverfield movie, or a couple weeks later. So I have no friggin' idea when this show is dropping, so we're just talking about it now. We are talking Umbrella Academy. This was a book that came out 2007, 2008 originally, written by Gerard Way. He's currently doing work for DC, and he's part of the band My Chemical Romance.
Oh, okay.
Let's cover it. Let's try and wet the whistle of people, try to inform them. So that being said, let's not do a summation and just talk and generalizing the story so we don't ruin it for the show.
Fair. All right, well, Jared's Reading Corner, Umbrella Academy. I guess if I were to generalize it, like I said to you when I pulled up to the house tonight, it was kind of like, to me, it felt like dysfunctional X-Men family.
It's a little Fantastic Four-ish. Like dealing with a family dynamic, a very dysfunctional family dynamic, which, the Fantastic Four, I'm stretching a little here, just, they always come together. This is not a family that is willing to come together.
No. I like the titles of the different books in the arc too. It very much is like dysfunctional family. The art is really good. I really like it as well. But what was the second one? Was we only see each other at weddings and funerals?
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Like, to me, it was like kind of your standard mysterious background.
Let's step back just a quick sec. This is a world where JFK didn't die, and something like 43 unique births happened during this cosmic boxing match, and this one individual adopted 7 different children, 6 of whom have powers.
And nobody knows, like, the fathers of these, like, were spontaneous pregnancies.
It was all Immaculate Conception. They're all Jesus like that. You have Space Boy, the Kraken, the Rumor, the Seance, number 5, the Horror, and then the other one.
Yes.
Who doesn't have powers. Then she gets powers. I am very curious to see this in live action because you have a character, Space Boy. His whole thing is, he has super strength, and then he gets damaged, and he has his head transplanted onto the body of a gorilla.
A giant space gorilla.
Yeah. You have the Kraken, real good at throwing knives.
Very, very good at throwing knives.
He's real moody about it. The Rumor, she just tells lies that become truth. Something might happen to her. Number 5, he travels in time to the future, to the past, but he can't go too far.
But you're not supposed to know that. That was like, I'd say that's kind of spoilerish.
I don't think so.
Because that's not really revealed till later on.
It's kind of revealed in issue 1.
Yeah, I guess.
Where he comes back, or was it issue 2? Either way.
I think
early on.
Oh, it's the end of issue 1, I think.
He's like, hey, I'm back. I've been gone for 30 years. What up? I'm still 5 years old, or however old he's supposed to be. This isn't your standard fare, because usually we talk about superhero comics, things that have had long established backgrounds, and generally in the indie world, you're not dealing with a superhero book, but here we are.
Yeah, but it's not like standard fare superhero, but it's not unfamiliar superhero. There's some Box City Waltz feel to it, too.
That's a pull.
But would you agree?
Yeah, I bet. Like, characters that have been established. It's also a little Watchmen. Like, characters that are disillusioned by their role within the world. When you're dealing with the Watchmen thing of all the Watchmen characters are metaphors for metaphors, and you kind of have a bit of that here as well. You have metaphors for metaphors.
Well, Kraken kind of looks like Rorschach when Rorschach takes his mask off.
Yeah, so you're flipping around the book. There's a talking monkey. He's amazing. All this kind of stuff. Like, do you think a Netflix budget can do this book justice?
I don't know.
Because they had stuff like recently, like they just did Lost in Space, which I think is one of their more heavy sci-fi kind of.
Did you watch it?
I have not. Don't care.
But the graphics in the trailer for that were stunning.
Yeah, so is Netflix willing to throw down the cash to make, a talking monkey and then another man in a monkey suit? There's a lot of monkey.
That doesn't look. It can't look cheesy. It can't look like Jar Jar Binks.
What I really like about this book is it's very silly, but it's very earnest. There's no one who is calling out the silliness of this book. All the characters say crazy, ridiculous things, and everyone takes it at face value.
Yeah, it requires a substantial amount of suspension of disbelief, but it plays into that fantastical world. It builds its world, and it plays by the rules of that world. You understand early on that this is not like Superman takes place in our world. Spider-Man takes place in our world, essentially.
This is a world where JFK didn't die.
Yeah, so it's like
there were aliens.
But when you look at like the majority of your standard fare superhero superhero stories, they're meant to take place in the world that we are in. And this takes place in a world that's created, and it plays by that world's rules.
But I don't think I've gotten this clearly across yet at this point. I love this book. This book is amazing. Especially this first arc. There is a second arc that we didn't cover that I feel kind of drops the ball a little bit. Like, it was just more continued because it was such a smash hit. And I love dealing with a totally different world, and you jump into it and you get it, and it feels right.
Yeah, and you can buy the motivation of the villains. So it definitely...
Yeah, no spoilers. Spoiler, it's the one that doesn't have powers, and then it has all of the powers. Oh my god!
Now you just spoiled it.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's okay.
It's kind of obvious.
It's how you get there.
It's real obvious. From, like, the second one, they're like, the other 6 have powers, and you don't have any. And she's like, oh man, I wish I had powers. And then she's sad and disillusioned because she doesn't have powers. Then she has the power to destroy the world!
But she also wrote a book.
There's also a little bit of incest in this. Star Wars style.
Incest? Well, no, it's not a little bit. It's actually a lot. There's quite a bit of incest. It's pretty straightforward.
But they're adopted.
As long as they're not biological, that's not incest. It's technically speaking.
Still weird.
Yeah, I mean, but there's incest is like blood relative.
Yeah, no, still weird.
I'm not
trying to defend it.
I'm not arguing a case for incest. Very much arguing a case against it.
Please argue that. Just find a way, like, well...
You already know the person. You're already living together.
Biologically speaking, convenient. Ew, disgusting.
You ruined everything.
That is a weird part of the book, though, right?
It's not normal. It's also like...
We're just kind of like pulls you out. You're just like, well, that's a thing that happened.
Yeah, you just move on from it, I suppose.
Star Wars style. I like the characters a lot. I like the silly...
They're down 12-7.
What?
Yeah, but there's still 7.5 minutes to go.
It's only... Yeah, I guess 12-7 isn't a big... Whatever.
The sky is falling, Zach. The sky is falling. Panic, panic!
Okay, Chicken Little, let's move on with Umbrella Academy.
Well, I have an umbrella, so I'm safe.
Damn it, I hate it when you're clever.
Thank you.
As a whole, though, I love the kind of like 1950s aesthetic that we have for a lot of the stuff in this. And it's a book as a whole I truly recommend. Before the show, I have no idea what the show is going to turn out to be. I don't know if Netflix is going to give them the money necessary to pull this book off. Even the finale. The finale is kind of big.
It's very big.
Can you do that on a Netflix show? And, you know, for the sake of not spoiling it, because I feel like a lot of people might not know this book, it was very big 10 years ago. I highly recommend it, especially before the Netflix show happens, and, you know, kind of weigh it against what it could potentially be. How do you feel on it?
I want to know how they turn the Eiffel Tower into a space rocket.
Oh, that's just a good sentence to just go out on that book. I recommend it. I highly recommend it.
Hey, if you weren't convinced, zombie, robot, Gustav Eiffel. On to the letters!
On to the letters indeed.
Lot of questions, number one. Damn few answers.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Make it so.
Side note, send us more letters because my bag is depleted. My letters bag. My mailman's letter bag is depleted. I don't got any others after this, so for the love of God, send me more.
Ones that I can answer.
Or not. It doesn't really matter.
Well, it's letters to the editors, Zach.
Give us...
With a Z.
This is a good one. I actually really like this one. This week, this was by a real son of a bitch. He sent us a letter, and it started with, I mentioned a thing on the show, like maybe a month ago at this point, where people come in and they do this joke. They're like, oh, that comic says 20 cents, so I guess it's 20 cents. And he's like, opened with that. I'm like, son of a bitch.
He got you. He got you good.
He followed up that statement
with a $5 question.
Yeah, which was essentially, not reading it verbatim, why has the cost of comics gone up?
Oh, simple. The cost of everything's gone up.
Great, thanks. So your answer is inflation.
Yes.
The answer to the cost of comics is slightly more complicated and more interesting than simple inflation, although inflation does play a role in it.
20 cents in 1920s dollars would be $5 today.
No one was printing anything in 1920s.
They were printing the newspaper.
The 30s, man, that's when things got going.
All right, I'm going to find out what 1930s 20 cents is in US dollars today. Will you do your little spiel?
The short version is basically companies trying to sneak a little bit more out of things. Originally, Marvel and DC were whatever they were at the time, so it would be like national publication for DC or Timely for Marvel. DC was printing all of the comics, so Marvel was going through them originally, and they were trying to slowly increase the price. a little bit at a time, going from like 12 cents to 20 cents to 25 and 75 cents for like annuals. But then there was a point where they tried to increase this has been a bit of an ebb and a flow. They tried to increase it by 5 cents, like from 20 to 25 in the early 70s, and they got slapped down hard. Like their sales numbers just plummeted. It's so amazing to think that like a 5-cent increase from like 20 to 25 cents would cause this. And Marvel didn't change anything. They were just like, oh, the books they're bigger and better now. Like we added pages, but what they really did was just add advertisements. Like if you get collections now, or if you buy the original comics, you can see like Marvel will say that they increased their page count, and I'm putting that in a big quotation because they would do half a page of comic, half a page of ad. So they did that and increased the price, and then they got slapped down hard, and then they had to bring their price back down because no one was buying their stuff. And then just over time, things changed. Also, in the late 70s, everything kind of changed for the printing, and it's kind of stuck this way ever since. All of the printing for comics now happens through essentially through a monopoly. Not every company uses this. There are different companies who use different printers, but most companies, Marvel, DC, there is a company in Canada where they all have a deal with, where they all do their printing through now, and so DC is no longer doing Marvel's printing, but through that they've been able to kind of like sneak their prices up, a bit over time just through natural inflation. But there was that period of time where they tried to sneak in little bits of like, we have extra pages, but it was sort of just extra ads.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is the long and short of it.
Do you want to know how much 20 cents in 1935 would be worth today?
Sure.
$3.67.
That's about what you pay for a comic.
There you go. My answer? Way easier.
Inflation. Wow, that's so interesting that the price of comics really hasn't changed.
See? Inflation. If you like the show, go to our Patreon. Patreon.com/editorsnotecomics.
Still, if you want to get your own soundbite.
Well, no, I was about to.
Okay, great. I was trying to remind.
I remembered. That's the Duke of the podcast pay level.
I'm just stepping on your nuts here.
Ow, my bag. Just because yours is empty doesn't mean that you have to deflate mine.
Jesus.
Anyway, $1 gets you the show a week early. A day early. It gets you the Buffy Back Issue bin. That's the other show a whole week early with a much nicer co-host than I have on this show.
Yeah, wait, still me. So it's you.
No, I'm saying
you with someone better.
I'm replacing you with someone better. Your better half, in fact. Plus, if you were to give $5, that's the Duke of the podcast.
You need to clear your throat.
Well, I was just making sure you weren't going to step on my.
Stop saying bag.
I was going to say my talking. Yeah, so you can be the Duke of the podcast, and Sound Guy will give you your own sound clip. So that's really exciting stuff. You can also visit the store where?
210 Water Street in beautiful downtown Hull. Don't punch the computer. It's here for you.
I elbowed it and touched your knee at the same time.
Lay off my bag. Yeah, I guess that's it. You're on Twitter.
At Junior Rich.
Find those rich tweets. Tweets by Junior Rich. That was a theme we had once.
We did have that.
I technically still have it in my email. We have a lot of themes in my email. So many things that were used once. I forgot to bring back stupid news. I was going to do that this week.
Well, it's 9 o'clock now.
What was stupid news going to be? I guess I didn't actually have it.
Oh, well.
But we're ready to do stupid news again.
Somebody somewhere is doing something stupid, and we're going to be there to tell you about it next week.
We'll be back next week for Deadpool. Dose.